What's up, you guys? Welcome to Country Conversations with Diva D. Now, I have filmed this video 3 times. Now, I'm going to tell you what messed me up. I am trying to film off of Canva using my camera. It didn't save the videos. So, right now, at this point, my best filming technique is through my phone. However, with Canva, my phone is not downloading the videos to Canva. So that's why you don't see me with, you might see me with all the fancy little shorts, but you don't see me with the fancy beginning. So once I figure out how to integrate all of that from like either my laptop or from the phone, then we're going to be good, because for some reason Canva is just not allowing me to edit my videos on my phone. But that's neither here nor there. We're going to work it on out. Well, yesterday I was talking to my best friend and she was like, Donna, I'm ready for some country conversation. You know, you've been making those reviews and I love your reviews. However, we need to dig deeper. I want some, hot topics or some, hot button pressing issues. So today I came up with a little note here. And I'm going to tell you what motivated me to make this video. I was on Facebook and the Sexy Red, I think that's her name, and Sukiyama did a video together right out in front of Popeye. So the guys on there were saying this is all the fault of single mothers and this is a single mother issue. And I'm like, what the hell? Are y'all serious? So I wanted to dig deep and let's get onto the black men for a change, and make them understand that every issue that's surrounding the black community does not come from single mothers. Okay, now it's very important that we go back just a little bit, real quick. I want to go back to Africa. Now, I know we have some African Americans out here now saying that they were already here and they're indigenous. So we're not going to go into that. We're just going to talk about us, black Americans, stolen Africans, that know our genealogy. My folks are from the Ivory Coast. I am not going to say we are indigenous to this land. Not my folks. Because I had a teacher who studied genealogy, and if I asked him, he would go right on down there to the library and pick up those slave, and by the way, slave masters kept good records, okay? So he would go right down there and look up those slave records if you asked him to do so. And I asked him to do so. His name was Mr. Tone, one of my favorite teachers. He did my genealogy a little bit. I asked him to find out, the origin of my family on my dad's side. He couldn't do my mom's side because my mom is not from this area. He could only do, Winston County. So I know just from what he told me is that a group of slave masters went to South Carolina, went right there to the port, picked them up from slaves, and they dropped them off in an area what is now called Claytown, right outside of Nanaway, close to Neshoba County. So that is the origin of the clay side. So I know that these slaves that he picked up, my ancestors, were not already here. He picked them up off of a boat that had landed in South Carolina. So move right along from there. But let's start a little bit in Africa. Now, in Africa, most of the West Coast, where a lot of African Americans are from, those areas were matriarchal until colonization. And the reason why I'm talking about the matriarchy is because in Northwestern American society, we live in a patriarchy. It is what it is, okay? And in that patriarchy, our culture was stolen. Just like we were stolen, our culture was also stolen. So we don't know what to go by as far as culture goes. So we pick up everybody. We are the only group that pick up everyone else's culture in Northwestern United States or America. So it's a thing called the diaspora. And so what we're confused about is like, how did so many black people get from North America, South America, and North America and South America? So that also was through the slave trade, and through the slave trade they traded with each other. North America, South America traded with each other. So there are slave descendants in South America as well, and they may speak a different language, but they are African descent. Same thing with the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic are Spanish speaking people. A lot of them are light skinned because they integrated with a lot of Spanish speaking people from Spain. And the Spanish speaking people from Spain are Caucasian. Yes, they are Caucasian. So you can't say that people in the diaspora are Spaniards. A lot of us do that. Spaniards are from Europe. Okay? And the reason why they do have a darker hue is that because a lot of them still have the ancestry of the Moors. Now, I'm going to say allegedly for a lot of these things, and in my opinion, that's just because of YouTube's rules. These things that I'm speaking to you right now are facts. You're not speaking with the person who's not educated on these issues. I studied, and I studied hard because I wanted to know where I came from. Okay? So I took at Jackson State, the Jackson State University, I took not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 5, not 6, but 7 African American Studies classes. And even at the Jackson State, when I was there, I don't know if that's true to this day or not. When I was there, we did not discuss slavery. Our curriculum was the same curriculum that they have at other universities in the state of Mississippi. I took those classes as electives. Basically, they had no weight on my GPA. However, I am so glad that I took them. Okay? So, that's neither here nor there. We're going with the why we're under a patriarchy. We're under that patriarchy due to 3 religions, okay? We have Judaism, we have Christianity, which is the major one in America, and we have Islam. A lot of our ancestors practice Islam. That's not because they were naturally Islamic. No, no, no. This is also a religion that was placed upon them through slavery. Arabs conquered a lot of the lands in Africa and enslaved African people, and they gave them the Islamic religion, just like when we came to America, they gave us Christianity. So you got one religion that's more liberal than all of them, which is the originator of the big 3, which is Judaism. You don't hardly hear the Jews worrying about what people are wearing, how they're dressing. They're more liberal than Christianity and Islam. Now you do have some Jews that are very, very traditional. Most of them live in Israel. Okay? Very rare that you will run into a Jew here that has all these different rules about, how you can dress, who you love, blah, blah, blah. Pretty liberal. Now, with the dressing, We're going to talk about the European and the European Christian, and we're going to talk about the European and the Arabic Islam or Muslim or whatever. They are strict with the dressing in Africa, okay? But when you go to most villages in Africa, even to this day, the villages that have not been colonized, they don't wear clothing, okay? So the idea of you being covered up is from those religions, Islam and Christianity. So, being that those two religions have so I was saying, you know, in those religions, they concentrate on the clothing that you wear and things like that, and especially in Islam, they want you covered from head to toe. Why? As hot as it was in Africa. So we picked up on that part of that religion. Same thing with the Europeans with Christianity. They came and told us to cover up because they live in a cold climate. So they had to wear clothes for the weather. Our ancestors walked around Africa butt-ass naked because it was hot. Simple. So our clothing choices are regulated through these religions. The reason why I'm bringing that up is because these young ladies that were in this video, the Sukianas and the Sexy Red, I think that's her name. Don't quote me on that because I don't follow them. But yeah, they dress scantily clad. The reason why the Islamic religion say that you should dress a certain way is because of the men being tempted by, you know, to sexually aid women. However, there are no documented cases in Africa with us walking around butt-ass naked of these sexual aids. Let me repeat myself. There are no documented cases of sexual aids to these women in these villages that walk around butt-ass naked. Because they were sexualized through these religions and colonization. Fast forward to America. Let's get on down to America. We're here in America now. That's what it is. We're going to talk about what's going on right now in the African American community. Our community is heavily divided. We are divided between the men and the women because the men in our community are actually blaming us for every ill and peril in our community. And that's sad because no other woman in no other racial group holds their men down like the black woman. I can give you examples. Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Chris Brown, Jonathan Majors. As soon as the charges were made against these men, here come our capes, right? Deny it if you want to. That's what happened. I have heard people literally call Aaliyah fast. When I saw her in 1994, I was 18 years old myself on Video Soul, and she was dressed exactly like R. Kelly. I knew then, I was like, oh my goodness, he is grooming her. He was acting more immature than she was. So, we cape for our men, but we're being blamed for the divide of the black family. The welfare system. Let's talk about the welfare system of the 90s. And starting probably about early 50s. Okay, I mean early 50s, maybe late 50s. Let's start with the welfare system. So we have these things that evolve called the welfare queen. When welfare originally came out, it was to help white women whose husbands had left them or whose husband was in the service. So when there was decline of black males in the home, black women started to request these services as well. Now, these services are not usually for black men or white men for that matter. These services are usually for a single mother with children who don't have a male figure in the home. Let me repeat. Who don't have a male figure in the home. Well, now the black men are blaming us for getting on welfare and keeping the black male out the home. The welfare system is not for you. The welfare system is to take care of that woman and that woman's children. But let me tell you this clearly. If there is a man, white or black, which is unusual, but if there is a man, white or black, that is an actual single parent, and I'm talking about like me, who has the kids, right? And who is actually raising the kids in the household, then he can also qualify for welfare. So it's not a woman thing. It's a single parent thing. So if Joe Bob was a single parent in a single home, raising children all by himself, the caseworker, which I have been, will tell him the exact same thing that we tell women. If he had a girlfriend that lived in his home, we would tell him, hey, Jenny Sue, she got to leave because Jenny Sue is living off the welfare that's here to provide for you and your children. So that's how the welfare system works. It's not that black women went out there and got on welfare just to spite the black man. Dispel that myth, okay? Another thing, let's talk about integration. We're gonna get real here. Allegedly. Let me put allegedly out there. Martin Luther King was in charge of. So, Martin Luther King dated white women when he initially went to college. This was a no-no for Dad. So, when Dad decided to let Martin get married, he a dark-hued black woman. But Coretta Scott King was handpicked. Okay? But his desire to partner with white women never left him. He is the king of integration. And I appreciate his sacrifice. But what's real is what's real. He and the men that were with him, that were in leadership with him, or co-leaders of his, or whatever you want to call them, the actors and the singers, Sidney Poitier and Harry Belafonte, wanted the marital laws lifted especially. Now, of course, we wanted equal rights, but we wanted equal rights to marry who we wanted to marry. And as soon as these laws were passed, what did they do? they married white women. It happened. Okay? All of these things you can look up yourself. So, I said all that to say that's another reason why we don't have black men in the home. Black men have the absolute highest rate of dating, partnering, and marrying outside of their race. Even with that being the case, and when I say about the capes, think about Jonathan Majors. He is in some major boo-boo, right? Who has a cape on? Trying to save him. Going to court with him. The black woman. I was 12 years old. You know, this is annoying. These videos are giving me hell. I'm trying to download them and save them and all that good stuff. That's why I have so many part 2s to my videos. But anyway, you know, like I was saying, during integration, these black men, you know, also left the home to, you know, marry who they wanted to marry. Simple as that. And like I was saying, I was sexualized at 12 years old because a man said that he knew I was having sex because I was shaking. But moving right along, these are the components that contribute to the decline of the black family. Black men are more likely to abuse their women. Allegedly. Look it up. Black men are more likely to their women. Look it up. So I forgot. And go to jail. Now I'm not talking about little small 2 ounces of weed, what they're going to jail for. No, I'm talking about the crime. Very the crimes. So with that being said, let's start placing the blame where it needs to be placed. Right? You want to blame these black women for how these young girls are dressing. There's a market for it. If there wasn't a market for it, they wouldn't be dressing like that. The market was set up and put in place initially by black male rappers. Have we forgotten about the 2 Live Crew? The market has to be there. The men are the ones who buy things from these women. The men are the ones who are the fans of OnlyFans for Sukihana and the sexy red. I promise I don't know her name. But anyway, the point is, you know, everything is catered to males. Whatever they do is to cater to males. Okay? So let's let the blame get spread around some. Stop blaming single mothers. Okay? Now I'm going to end this video and tell you to come back to see me for my Love and Marriage Detroit and my Wonder Years review. Thanks for watching. I'm Diva D, and these are Country Conversations with Diva D. Like, comment, and subscribe. Goodbye now. Deuces.